Hey, I'm my Rising Stars, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Hey, welcome back. Hey, my Rising Stars, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hey, my Rising Stars, don't y'all forget about Heaven. She's gonna be with me in some of my videos. So, anyway, today's story time is gonna be how I got away from some random man that was chasing me when I was walking home, which I shouldn't have been. I think I was around 16, 16 when that, no, I take that back. I was 15 when it happened. Y'all, it was crazy. I was coming from uh, this recreation center that we used to all go to when we was younger. And all of the kids, we used to always go there. So, you know, you walking along um, every day, going back and forth from your granny house to the center, your granny house to the center. You're not never thinking nothing could go wrong. So, I'm just enjoying, going here and going there. And I take that back. I wasn't 15. I was actually 14. And we would my granny lived like, let me see, one, two, she lived no more than 3 blocks away from the recreation center. My great grandma, that's who I lived with. And then I also had my grandmother, which was my dad mother. She lived like a house over from the recreation center. So I would go to the recreation center during the daytime, and then sometime throughout the daytime I would go to my grandmama house if I needed something to drink, if I needed to get something, if I was sick or anything, I would go to my grandmama house. But this specific day, I don't remember what was going on, but I stayed at the recreation center to 6, and you all know that it started getting dark like around 6. So it was me and my cousins and all of us. We was all at my grandmother's house. So I stayed over there with them for a little while, and I was just like, oh, I'm getting ready to go home, because everybody was. I think this was about 9 or 10 o'clock. Like, yeah, it's like 9 or 10 o'clock. I had been at the center. The center closed at 6. After the center closed, we would still sit around the center, play, have fun, talk, or whatever. So I normally would go home, stop by my grandmother's house, say hi, whatever, and then go home to my great grandmother's house. But this specific day, it was my cousins and aunties and uncles, and everybody was over there. So I stayed and I talked, and we ate. Grandmother had cooked something to eat. We all ate. So I was just like, I'm finna go home. I took this walk home many, many nights. And this was around, I know it was like 9 or 10. I can't remember, y'all. It's been a while. But it was late. I know it was dark outside. And it's like when you walk down the neighborhood, it's like everybody on this block. So when you walk past, you're speaking, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? You're speaking to everybody. So then you got a big old church over here. So as I was walking, I seen a truck. It was just sitting there, but I didn't think nothing of it because once you know everybody in the neighborhood, so you don't think nothing like that was about to happen. So I'm walking down the street and I see this truck. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna keep going. So as you get closer to where my grandmother lived, it's like this dark little spot. You still on the sidewalk, but it's like this dark little area right here. It's like an alley, and it's like a little dark area. So it started getting dark. You could see the truck coming down the street, and it was like as I started coming from the dark, it was like this big old shop, and it had a big old glass window, and it was a big light right there. But when you go around the shop, it's dark. For my grandmother lived just like across the street, a house over. It was empty. I think it was an empty field right there, and then she lived like in the next house. So as I'm coming out not the alley, as I'm coming down, I could still see my other grandmama house. But me, I'm not thinking nothing of this truck. So as I'm going down, walking down the sidewalk, the truck kind of started getting closer and closer by me. So at this point, I'm just like, no, something ain't right. This truck ain't got no business coming this close to me when it should be way on that side of the street. So I started getting scared. So as the truck got like closer to me, I kind of started walking fast. And then right once you get off the sidewalk from going from the street, then you're gonna walk up the sidewalk a little bit, and it's an alley. Once you get across that alley, you going onto another little sidewalk, and then you're gonna be right there where that big building is at. The truck turns, like kind of turn like into the alley. By then, I'm starting to run. So he back up, and he just came like he was coming on that street. So I'm running. And once you get to the shop, once you get to the shop, um, and you get around that light, I didn't know I didn't know what to do. I didn't know to hide. I didn't know whether to run home. I didn't know what to do. All I knew is I needed to get somewhere because it was some random man chasing me. So once I got to the to my grandmother's house, once I got past the shop, I'm sorry, I seen that truck getting ready to turn that corner, and I took off across the street. And I guess the truck not knowing that I'm at home now, I'm at home. So he steady creeping around the corner. I done already made it halfway to the yard. I'm tired. I'm scared, and I'm finna have to knock on the door. But the good thing about it is my granny's house had the whole porch was a screen. The whole porch was a screen. So once I ran through the screen, I could lock the screen door, but I still had to get in the house. So I see the truck, and he like stopped right there across the street. So I'm just like, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? Because this is me, ain't nobody there but me and my granny. And my granny like 80 something years old. She ain't gonna be able to do nothing. So I'm knocking on the door, and she's not gonna answer the door in 2 or 3 minutes. It's gonna take her at least a good 5 or 10 minutes to come to the door, depending on where she at. If she's sitting in the living room, it's gonna take her about a couple of minutes. But if she way in her room in the back, it's gonna be every bit of 10 minutes. So as I ran on the porch, and you could lock the screen door, I locked the screen door, and I could see the man sitting there. So I'm knocking on the door. I don't know if the man thinking I just ran to that house or what. So once my granny finally came to the door, and I opened up the door and I went in, I stayed in for a long time. And before I even came out, because I could have peeked out the window, but you couldn't see anything because, like I said, I had that big old screen around her porch. So if I looked out the window to see anything, I could. And then if I looked through the next window, all I could see is her driveway. So I started to go back out the door. The man still sitting there. So I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm just telling my granny, it's this man out there, and he followed me all the way from that church. And I said, I don't know who he is, but he followed me all the way from the church. So, okay. I had called my other grandmama, and I was telling her, she was telling me, stay in the house, telling who that is, because we normally don't have that type of stuff happening in that neighborhood. So I'm like, okay. So the next day, I get up and I say, I'm finna go before I leave and go to the recreation center. I'm gonna wait and see if this man is anywhere around. So y'all, I was so scared. I stayed at my granny house for like 2 days without going to the recreation center. And that's not me, because the recreation center was so fun. I wanted to go every single day. Every day you just want to go be with the other kids. But it was so scary to where I'm just like, But across the street, we had some friends from California, and they came down for the summer. And I had seen one of the guys. I didn't know they was here, but I seen one of the guys, and I went over there and started talking to him, and I started telling them the story or whatever. So we go, we all go, them and some other people. We go, and uh, we go to the recreation. We all walk down to the recreation center where we meet up with all of the other friends and stuff. And we at the recreation center, so we go. We all walk down. It's like this little. It's like a little. I don't want to say the name of the school, but it's like a school down there. And this school is sitting in the middle of the neighborhood. So if you want to go anywhere around to a different, walk around, you have to walk all the way around this way of the school, all the way around. So we used to always just walk around and go to other parts of the neighborhood. So we all walking, coming back, which I wasn't supposed to be, out that time that late anyway. But um, we probably was about, I'm gonna say about, it had to been later than about 9. So we all get ready. They say, well, we finna get ready to go back, because their grandma probably was looking for them, because they used to come down there every summer and live with their grandma too. So I was like, yeah, we better get on back over to get back over there, because that was about 5 blocks, 6 blocks we had to walk, but it wasn't a very long walk. So we walked back to the center, and I was mistaken. The center didn't close at 6. The center closed at 9. I think, just sitting here thinking. So we go back, and as we walking, we walked past this house where my great grandmother used to live before we had moved her into the other house. So we walk past the house. Yeah, how come we go back, we turn, we get ready to go. Same old situation. We hear this truck. Man, I tell y'all, we all took off running. Everybody was running every which way. We didn't know which way to go. So instead of me this time running to my granny house, we ran to their granny house, because it's just like, my granny was across the street, their granny was just straight up the street. So we take off running. But the good thing about it is, it was this man. I'll never forget this man's name. His name Mr. Banks, and he lived across the street from my granny. And everybody knew everybody on the block. So when he seen us come around the corner, he was like, what's going on? And we was telling him that his truck was chasing us. He was like, y'all slow down, we all running. So we telling him what's going on. So he see the truck coming, but the truck not knowing that we out here talking to this man. So he already, Mr. Banks already in his truck. He already got, what he was going to get. Excuse me, y'all. He already got what he was going to get. So he say, when we got right there, it was kind of dark. And, cause I think 2 of the street lights was out. So it was kind of dark right there, but it wasn't dark where my granny was at, because her porch light, like kind of light up that little area. So we get over there, and we running, we telling him what's going on. So he said, okay, I'm gonna walk you home, and I'm gonna walk them home. And I said, no, I'm gonna go to their house. He said, no, you going home and they going home. So everybody raised everybody in the neighborhood. It wasn't no back talk or none of that stuff. So I was like, okay. I was like, yes, sir. So he took them home, and he took them home. He told them what was going on with the truck, and then he walked me to my grandmama house, to my granny house, and he told my granny what was going on with the truck. And my granny said, yes, the same thing happened to her a couple of days ago. So they finally called the police. The police came over. Y'all, it was an old, I ain't even say that, but it was this old man. And we don't know why he was bothering us, but every time he seen, it's like he was at that location like every night, like around the same time. And he had us so scared chasing us, and it was crazy because I did not know what to do. I didn't know what this man, if this man would have caught me, whew, I wouldn't have knew what to do. But I just wanted to get on here and tell y'all my rising stars. That's story time. But y'all be careful out there. Watch your surroundings. I was younger. I was 14 years old. And back then you didn't have to be worried about walking the neighborhoods and walking here and walking there by yourself, because you always, knew somebody. We knew everybody around half of the town. So that was just a little strange for that to happen. But I love y'all, on my rising stars. And until next time, peace.